pattern. So now with pattern, we're going to actually apply pattern to all of this because it's already drawn as a pattern. And at the end, you are going to create your own pattern based on some things, and you make sure you have enough room. But one thing is, we're going to select these shapes, and I'm going to make them smaller, okay? So by 50% less. So select it, hold the Shift key on your keyboard. Shift key is going to constrain your proportions. Kind of move them up here, then do a second one, 50% smaller. They're kind of big, so I want to leave more room. The next one is grouped as well. I just drew this, I think this morning. Shh, don't tell. Okay. Move this one. Again, kind of small. I want them to be small, right? So, and leave enough room for them because you're going to put other bigger shapes so you have enough space. So then I go next down, reduce that in size. And I'm giving enough room because I'm going to be drawing shapes, right? And then the bottom one, I think that's, yeah, here it is. Good. And the reason why I put them on this side will be easier for manipulation. So they are, all of them are kind of small. This is not my full size. This is the size. You can see. So starting with the first one, the same way as you have saved your gradient, that is the same way to do a pattern. Patterns, I'm just going to give you a little overview. This is important. When you create a pattern, patterns are like to be read from the middle out, but also looking at the 0, 0 points. What are the 0, 0 points? Show your rulers, Command R. This is the points. Just going from here out. So anytime you create a pattern, if you create a new pattern, I'm just showing you demonstration. Have the ruler showing and start drawing a shape at that on that side. It's gonna make it easier, trust me. I'll show you in a minute why. Another thing with your pattern, once you create a pattern, the pattern can be brought to a stage and be edited. But anytime you edit the pattern, you have to resave it as a new pattern. So it doesn't become, it's not gonna be the same pattern anymore. Make sense? So you cannot just edit it and save it as the same thing. It has to be separate. And you need to have at least 2 shapes to have a pattern. One shape is going to save as a shape, not a pattern. So we have 3 shapes here. I'm going to select the group item. And what you're going to do right now, easy way to define a pattern is select it and put it in your swatches. And you're going to do book, has some other things too. So I put in my swatches and it's a pattern now. And how I can tell? Well, let us select the rectangular tool. Anybody remembers the shortcut? M, because it makes no sense. That's how you're gonna remember it. M, it makes no sense. Then draw. Okay, I'm gonna draw a kind of long shape. I don't care if the gradient was used last, it doesn't matter. Go back, go to your swatches. Oh. And select the pattern you just saved. Right? So go back in your selection tool, V, click on that, select that shape. There it is. It's my pattern. And notice this, if I move it around, you notice where it goes? The starting point? 0, it's not set as 0, 0, so it's starting when it wants to start, right? Because it's reading from that. It's reading from here actually, so it's okay. But you notice how it's moving? So the pattern always goes on the alt page. So you draw in the shape, you kind of go around the pattern. If that makes sense. Now, if I want to probably show more, I can click it or not. So you can see we have a first pattern. Now, I hope you all resized yours because mine is pretty small. Now, the second one, same thing. Select it. Then drag it into your swatches. And we are going to draw another shape. Actually, let me draw ellipse. What's this? Anybody knows the keyboard key? Yes, L, ellipse. I guess there's L and ellipse. That too. I think there. Alright, so I'm going to draw L. I clicked L on my keyboard. Or you can go ellipse. Just draw ellipse. Kind of like squished ellipse. Now you notice one thing. It's taking attributes of the other pattern. If you want that, that's fine. If you don't want that, then you can just click a new pattern, and there it is. I'm just gonna extend that out. Oh, wrong key. Go back to V. Now, one thing I want you to make sure, if you're looking at your tools, and I know I keep moving my tools around because I'm recording and also enlarging my screen, but if you're looking at your tools, notice here that you have the fill showing, because I had students accidentally click on stroke and they're like, where's my pattern? Well, it's applied to your stroke. It'll probably show because your stroke is small.
That's one of the things with gradient too, if you have it.
Yeah, gradient, the same thing, exactly. Gradient has the same thing, so always check your fill and your stroke, right? Now, it will show up if your stroke is like 10 points. All right, so let's continue on with this shape, and again, I'm gonna probably draw, I don't know, maybe rounded edges, rectangle tool. All right, and again, I selected it. Remember, go back, click the V. But look what I did. I forgot to do. I need to save that pattern. So I'm just going to drag it to select my shape. There's my pattern. What do you see right now when it comes to the pattern? There are a few things you can see. Notice how the shapes are copied. Because you notice those shapes are repeating. So they're touching again. So it's kind of like... So what happens here? It makes a circle. That's why it's extremely important for your pattern to be aligned properly. All the elements have to be aligned correctly. That's kind of pretty pattern, right? But you notice here, this is half circle, this is half circle. And there are different ways you can cut it. You can use the combined shapes Pathfinder tool to do it too. Because I actually put two shapes here. Now they have, you probably see the line in the middle. If you do, that's because it has a stroke. So I forgot to do that. So if you have so you can always double click and see it. So go ahead and apply the gradient to that next shape. I mean gradient, pattern. All right, so you have it. But you notice how it's looking at the edges and repeats the edges. So just notice how it works. Okay, keep pausing this, but then we have the one. What I'm going to do right away, and this is just going to save you time, select one at a time and just save them. So select and drag it to your swatches. Next one, select and drag. And the last one, select and drag it. Okay? So now I'm going to I'll probably move this one down a little bit. I'm going to draw. If this is too big, you want it smaller, then go ahead and reduce it. That's fine. You can reduce it if you want. Because I actually need some room left for my last pattern that you're gonna do in a minute. So now I'm gonna go back, and you can choose any shape you want. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna do a circle, ellipse for this one, and then apply it. See there? How nice that pattern is. And the last one, probably gonna do maybe star. Yeah, why not? Apply that. Fishy. So I'm going to just move that around a little bit. You can see that I'm moving those shapes. They don't have to be exactly where you have them, as long as close. So you can choose any one. You can draw your own if you want to, but I'm not gonna. And then the last one is the Polygonal Tool. Just move that down. So notice that when I move it, you notice how the pattern is kind of changing again, because it looks at your direction. So go ahead, once you do this, just do Command S to save it. Command S on the keyboard. So again, the three patterns that we have here, they actually were not created by me. I created the top three. And then the bottom three I used from the library. So if you want to have access to more patterns, this is where you want to go. And I want you to do it. So Window. I'm going to zoom in a minute. Swatch Libraries. So it's like pretty much on the bottom. And then select Patterns. Okay. Patterns. Now under Patterns, there's more. There's Nature. Okay, it's gonna go a lot. So Swatch Libraries, Patterns, Nature, and choose Animal Skins. Animal Skins pulls up. Now I didn't obviously use Animal Skins for this one. Okay. Now, those are saved. You don't have to save them. There's several different ones. What I want you to do in the bottom corner, hopefully you have room, or any, like somewhere in the last thing, draw a shape, and I'm gonna do a round shape here because that fits well in my corner. Now, if you just draw it like this, select one of the patterns. I'm gonna select Jaguar. Oh, and look at this. What did I apply it to? My stroke, so it's not showing, right? So I'm like, uh-oh. Click my fill, and there it is, my Jaguar. Go ahead and do so. So if I want to make this pattern bigger or smaller, even if I change the size of my shape, the pattern always be constant. But let's say I want to edit the pattern. So I told you how editing works, and you edit it, you have to resave it as a new pattern. So I'm going to move the shape of the way for now. Kind of moved it on the side. And I'm going to go back into my swatches, and I'm going to pull that pattern out. Okay, see, my pattern is here, and it's way too big. I want it to be smaller. So go ahead, the pattern you just used, pull it out, and then resize it. Oh, I got the wrong tool. Okay, so I'm going to drag the corner, and if you want it to be proportionate, hold the shift key. It's going to be proportionate. Make it tiny, like probably quarter size what it was. So now notice this. Look what I'm doing. If I want to save it here under nature animal skins, you think I can? Nope. Look at that. Doesn't let me. The only place where you can save anything new has to be under swatches. So you have to open up your swatches, and then you move your last pattern. Now you have two of them because the last one that you just did. Now I'm gonna delete it from the bottom, go back to my shape, and now I'm gonna select it. Look at that, smaller now. Okay, go ahead and save it. Once you save it, document, you are done with this document, right? Thank you with that one.